Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to this live student Q&A. This is all kind of aimed at helping you guys find out more about what it's like to study at the University of Glasgow. We have a fantastic panel of students with us today. And before I introduce them, I'll just kind of like to give you an idea of what's going to be happening over the next hour or so. Firstly, my name's Gavin. I work here at the University of Glasgow, and I'm here just to I've got the nice easy job today of putting the questions that you guys have been submitting over the past wee while on social media and just through various other channels to our fantastic panel of students. So your questions will be going directly to them, and they'll be able to give you a wee idea of what it's like to be part of the community here at Glasgow, what it's like to come and study here. And so we've got about up to about an hour just to kind of chat through all these questions. So hopefully we'll cover plenty of good ground. But without any further ado, I'd like to just introduce the panel. So we'll start off with Ilse, if you could just introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name's Ilse. I'm a third-year biomedical engineering student, and I'm from the Netherlands.
Perfect, thank you. And Nikol?
Hiya, I'm Nikol. I'm a fourth-year geology student. I'm from Northern Ireland.
Perfect. And Sam?
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm this year's SRC Vice President Student Activities. I just finished doing geography, and I'm from London.
Fantastic. So I was going to say we've got a broad panel of students covering lots of different subject areas, but we've got geology and geography. And I was going to say that they're pretty much the same, but the pair of you would probably shout at me for saying that. They're very different, very different. But yeah, a fantastic panel with lots of different experiences coming to Glasgow. So without any further ado, let's just get on with the questions. Probably one of the nice broad ones that comes through quite a lot is the ones that people want to find out from students is why did you decide to apply to the University of Glasgow? So Ilse, what drove you to apply to Glasgow?
I gotta be honest, it was quite random. I wanted to study in Scotland because I really liked Scotland, and I was looking to do biomedical engineering, and then I found that Glasgow had the best ranking and also gave me just a good feeling of going to uni. So I looked at it and I was like, yeah, why not? Let's try. And off I went.
Fantastic. So it was a wee bit of kind of luck that brought you to Glasgow, but it's worked out well in your favour and obviously helped along by the rankings, as you say. So that was handy. Cool. Nikol, how about you? What drove you to come to Glasgow?
I actually didn't apply to Glasgow. I honestly didn't think I was gonna get into one of the big universities for geology or anything. So I didn't even go see Glasgow or anything, but I would definitely say it was really worth the risk because I'm having the best time at the moment. But yeah, it was a bit scary, but would recommend 100%.
Perfect. Yeah. It's good to kind of know at least, again, you ended up at Glasgow anyway, the good place. And Sam, how about you? What kind of drove you to come here?
I just wanted to get far away from home. I felt like, why not apply to somewhere in Scotland? So there was here and then another place down the road. Basically looked at both unis and the course they offered and basically the city as well. I kind of liked how the uni was in terms of where it is in the city, what the campus is like. Came up for the offer holders day as well. And here I am 4 years later, still here.
Perfect. So yeah, I know you were saying, Sam, that you were looking to get as far away from as possible. But I mean, you're coming from London. I mean, you're all a kind of short flight away from Glasgow. It's really easy to get to Glasgow from London, from Northern Ireland, and from Holland as well. So yeah, really, really easy to get to Glasgow. So even though you're saying it's far away, Sam, it's only like a one nap away on a flight. I'm still a child and rank things and sleeps. That's how I do it. So on to the next question. One of the big ones coming in just now is just over open days of the past few, yesterday and today. When do you start accepting applications? So yeah, if you're applying on UCAS, the application is open. It's open until the 26th of January. So that is the deadline. If you're applying to things like medicine, dentistry, and vet, the deadline was on the 15th of October. So we've already passed that one, but the next deadline is 26th of January. But obviously, if you're watching this and you're at school and your school have given you another time to kind of aim for, listen to what your school are saying, that's absolutely crucial, because your school might need to get your kind of your references together and help you with your personal statement and stuff like that. So always go with what your school is telling you. But you've got a wee bit of time to go still to apply to Glasgow. Next question coming in is asking about the support the University of Glasgow offers. Now, there is a wide range of support on offer here at Glasgow. Sam, I was wondering if you could maybe cover this one for us.
Yeah, I guess in terms of support here at the uni, there's a lot basically going around. So myself, I'm part of the SRC, the Students Representative Council. So it's basically the student council here at the University of Glasgow. Here we offer our advice centre. So if you choose to come to Glasgow, our advice centre can help with any academic queries you have in terms of uni. It might be appeals, it might be good cause, anything. Say if you're renting a flat, the advice centre is able to look over any leases or any contracts that you might have signed. That they're able to look out if there's anything wrong or anything that you might want to take a bit of concern with. I guess in terms of the uni in general, there's a disability service if you need to register a disability with uni, so you can end up having extra time in exams or any other support that you might need. We've got the financial aid team, which I've had to use quite a few times because I have spent a lot of money, especially my first and second year. So they were of great use. We've got leads, for example, as well. I use them a few times as well because I can't lie, I came to uni not really knowing how to write an essay. So I reached out to Leeds. Was it Learning and something Development Service? I don't know. Learning Enhancement and Academic Development Service. So they normally have like classes, workshops, helping you with essays, dissertations, even just like critical reading and thinking and stuff like that, to help you basically do the best you can in your studies. And yeah, most of these services, are online. You've also got on campus the Fraser Building, which is basically the kind of one-stop shop for student services. There's people that you're able to reach out to, and always handy. Like, say you can go into the Fraser Building if you need anything signed, any documents from uni to prove you're a student, anything for banks or stuff like that. They're going to be there to help you. So you can find online, you can find the website. There's basically a whole list of different support networks that can help you at your time here at Glasgow.
Ideal, yeah, and thanks for kind of sharing your experiences as well. I think that is one of the things that people coming to university, it's maybe a wee bit of change for them. So as you were saying, Sam, you might have spent a wee bit too much money in your kind of early university days when maybe you've never managed money before. So it's good that the university has services to kind of help you with things like that, and even moving into flats and stuff like that for the first time maybe ever. That's also stuff that the university can help with, either through the university itself or through the Student Rep Council. There's loads of places that can do that. And as Sam said, we've got the Fraser Building right on campus for you to use. And that is probably one of the good bits about the University of Glasgow being so we've got the best of both worlds, being a campus-based university in the west end of the city. So everything is just at your fingertips, really, when you're on campus, which is so useful. I'm seeing other questions coming in, and Ilse, I'll probably drag you in for this one. So international students are maybe feeling a bit nervous about travelling to a new country. How easy is it to settle in and make new friends?
Well, I think it's really good that in Freshers Week there's loads of activities where you can get to know other people. Many societies are there. They have like trial sessions where you can find out if it's something you like. So joining a society is a really good way to integrate, meet people. And personally, I've also found that university accommodation, if you join there, you'll be living with other first-year students, which is a really good way because you'll get to know students from first year, but different courses. So you're not just in your course bubble. And this way you meet friends and friends of friends. And I'd say if you go to activities, see some societies, live in university accommodation, you'll very easily meet people. And I found it quite easy to integrate here because Glasgow is a really friendly city, I feel, and the West End is very student friendly. So yeah, I think it's always a bit scary but very exciting as well. So just go for it.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I'm glad you said it's a friendly city. We have been ranked the friendliest city in the world before, and it's one of these, as you'll tell from my accent, born and bred Glaswegian. I love hearing that we're a friendly place to come to. But you are right, Elsa, that going to any big city around the world, it's always going to be a wee bit scary, but it's good to hear that Glasgow is such a nice, friendly place. It's easy to meet new people. And I like how you're saying one of the best ways of meeting new people and making new friends is joining some clubs and societies. So also coming back to you, what kind of are the best club societies there are to join that you know of? Anything that you're maybe a member of?
Well, the best ones to join are, of course, that's very subjective. Myself, I'm involved with Muay Thai this year. I've never done any fighting sports before, but they're very beginner friendly, so that's great. And I'm also part of some societies, Sustainable Technology Society, for example, because I do engineering, so that's really something that interests me. As well as Women in STEM or Female Engineering Society. But really, there's whatever you're interested in. There's probably a society for it. So look for them during Freshers Fair, and you'll find whatever you like.
Yeah, I think that the kind of numbers of clubs and societies has kind of shot up over the 300 mark now. I think it's a crazy number of opportunities for students to join things. Nicole, did you join any or any favourites that you've got?
Yeah, I just a really random one with this gin society. I just tagged along with one of my friends in first year and it was really, really good fun. Then there's a lot of like course ones. So I'm in the Geological and Geographical Society. And then there's also like the Exploration Society, which is really interesting. So basically you go with like PhD students to help collect data for their projects or whatever. So there's lots of trips with that. But obviously with COVID, they've kind of calmed down a bit. But yeah, there's honestly a society for like anyone. Like there's so many random ones as well, but they all seem really interesting. And like Elsa and Gavin said, there's like taster sessions that you can go to see like what suits you.
Amazing. So did you say, was it your first one Gin Society?
Yeah.
So did they have literal taster sessions where you got to go and that's quite handy. It's quite handy. And I like that you also had one that was quite like tied in with your course. I mean, I picked geography at school for the trips, and I love that you've picked one societies for the trips as well. So you've done well with that. Sam, how about you? Club societies that are your favourites?
I feel like I'm gonna have to shout out so many. And basically, as Nicole was saying, got a shout out Geography Society. I was president for 2 years, so yeah, Geography Society was one that yeah, we tried to do as much as we can, especially the year before COVID. We just restarted, so we were doing like you know collabs with other uni societies. Um, we did a few stuff last year. There's also stuff going on this year. Um, I guess in terms of myself, what I see, let me see, been part of the Salsa Club, Electronic Music Society. I'm also this year the charity fashion show, um, which is a rogue one, but um, yeah, I'm doing doing like fundraisers and stuff on that. Basically, like I've been able to like meet like so many different new people, um, you know, through doing just random things. Um, I feel like there's so many on top of my head, but like so many to this, and like as you said, like there's over 300, and then there's even more that are just like popping up here and there because everyone wants to start meeting new people. They're seeing that there's some societies that don't exist, so they're like, let's make it. And yeah, we're seeing more and more just grow. I might see if I can join some more. I can't lie.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point as well. The fact that if you and your friends get together and maybe want a society to exist, it can happen. And this is what's formed. I mean, there's a Shrek Society, which still to this day I have no idea what they do there, but it exists. So, I mean, the student societies we have in clubs are just so creative, and it can go from just being a kind of social thing where you get to meet new friends and stuff like that, to things that help with your course and help you find study mates and stuff like that as well. Nikol, my favourite one by far is the Glasgow University Irish and Northern Irish Student Society. Did you join that? Or were you ever part of that?
I actually haven't, but I definitely actually should. I'll look into it now. I didn't actually notice it, just like say I didn't even know that it existed, but
it's by far my favourite one, and it seems a strange one to enjoy so much, but Glasgow University Irish Northern Irish Student Society spells out a kind of form of Guinness. And I think that's absolute artistry from whoever came up with that in the society. So that's just how clever our students are. So yeah, loads of club societies. Obviously, we've got sports clubs there as well. So if you're interested in your sport, loads of things you can join there too. So absolutely loads of things you can do. We compete in the Bucks leagues and stuff like that, and I've even just following the university sport on Instagram, see we're doing quite well in a range of different sports, so that's great to see too. Cool. So more questions to cover here. So Sam, if I'm going to come to you for how can you find out about student events that take place in the university and in the unions? How can they find out?
So, in a nutshell, Glasgow Uni is different to other unis because we've basically got 4 different student bodies. So we've got the SRC, the Student Council, basically where I'm at. We've got the GU, the Glasgow University Union, and the QMU. So those two are, well, the QMU is the Queen Margaret Union. So those two are the 2 student unions here on campus. And we've also got GUSA, the Sports Association. So in terms of the SRC, basically the SRC is where we have the clubs and societies. We've got our website, glasgowunisrc.org, brand new website. And then on there, you can find a whole list of all our affiliated clubs and societies. We've got the GU who have their weekly nights, Thursday nights, tonight actually, yes. Yeah, tonight, Hive. So they've got their Facebook, their Instagram. They even got TikTok, which I'm actually featured on as well. You can find the events there. And in the Queen Margaret Union, the same. So they're doing the sports nights on the Wednesdays. They've also got a whole bunch of live events, conducts happening in their venue as well. So you can find that on the Facebook, Instagram as well. And then GUSA, with 50 plus sports clubs, same again. You can find it all on their website, on the Facebook, on their Instagram. Basically, if you just had a search, Glasgow Uni, say I'm part of the sailing club, Glasgow Uni Sailing, you'll find their pages on there. And then it'll basically be on their social medias where they update what they're doing. And then you can buy a membership and join their groups and stuff. So there's a lot going on. You just got to know the places to find them, and then they're all there.
Yeah, I think so. Social media is just, I mean, especially over the past 18 months or so, social media has just been kind of in charge of everything. And it's such a good way of kind of finding out what's out there and stuff that you can get involved with. I follow quite a few of the clubs and societies. I know, Sam, you were talking about the kind of the fashion show. They have amazing social media presence as well. So loads of big events will happen throughout the year, and it's amazing to see. Obviously, there's going to be quite a lot of big events happening in Glasgow this year with the COP coming up over the next few weeks. So we're used to lots of events happening on campus and in the city as well. So lots of stuff going on. Now, so obviously lots of things going on in the university, lots of clubs to join, lots of societies, lots of support there. But obviously you're thinking about coming to Glasgow to study a degree, and studying in Scotland is a wee bit different to studying elsewhere in the UK. So if you're thinking of studying it in Scotland and you're not entirely sure about the flexible degree structure that we have here at Glasgow, Nikol, I was wondering if you would be able to kind of give an idea of what this flexible degree structure is like.
Yeah, so basically the flexible degree program is, so as long as you're not studying anything like medicine, dentistry, or like engineering, in first year you take part in 3 subjects. So you've got your compulsory one, which is your degree, and then 2 more just to fill up credit. And then in second year, you then take 2 or 3 subjects, depending on like how many credits they're worth. Like I took 2, but I know some people had to take 3. And then basically you can change, as long as you've done the first and second year work, you can change to one of the other subjects that you've done. If say you don't like your course anymore or anything, like I know one of my friends who's a lot older, she started in economics and then she came out with a degree in business. So there's that option as well, because I know obviously going to uni, you're not entirely sure what you want to do. So having the 3 and then 2 sort of subjects gives you a lot more leeway as to what you want to do, and you can sort of change between them as long as you've like fulfilled the requirements. So like say you need to get like 60% or whatever to progress or whatever, then you can basically change, and it's rather easy to do. You just like email your advisor and they can do it for you, or you can do it yourself as well on your registration. So honestly, would really recommend, if you're not entirely sure, like that the course you are at the moment thinking of studying will be what you want to do, because obviously it's very different at university than it would be taught like in school and all. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, I think a few really good points you brought up there, and the fact that you can end up studying a subject that you enjoy and the one you're actually good at for your actual degree maybe not be it may not be the one you've applied for in UCAS, but it is the one you end up enjoying the most. That is really, really handy. It means we do often get quite high rankings in our kind of student satisfaction levels as well, because people end up enjoying themselves doing the subject they actually want to do. And as you were saying, Nikol, like there's lots of kind of subjects that you might never have done at school before here. I think we have over 100 single honours degrees, over 600 joint honour degrees. So there's like loads of combinations, that more than you would probably ever had the chance to do before. So that is such a good way of kind of studying at the university. Now, another big change that kind of obviously coming to Scotland to study, coming to Glasgow to study different degree structure, but actually studying in classes, what is it like? So Ilse, I was wondering, what is it? How does University of Glasgow differ from what it was like at school? So how are your lectures? How are your seminars? What are the classes like?
I would mainly say that you're a bit more on your own in university. So whereas in high school, you're still like in a smaller class with a teacher who you can directly ask or directly engage with, you're now more in a usually bigger group, depending on what course you do, of course. But usually you're in a bigger group and it's just a lecturer talking, and they will ask questions and they will engage with the students, but it's not as much as in a classroom. And also in general, I think you'd have less contact hours because you're a bit more on your own. You're expected to do more work on your own, so they give you the basis material, and you're expected to go beyond that, which I think you'll get used to it quite easily, because in first year it's more of a transition, and in later years you'll notice that there's more and more that you have to do yourself and to dig into. But yeah, that might sound a bit daunting, but it's all right, because like Sam outlined before, there's many support services available. Professors are usually very kind people too, so if you send them an email and you want to have a one-on-one session or you want to ask some questions, there's help available. So I think the biggest change is that you're expected to be more independent, but it's nothing to be scared about because you'll get used to it.
That's really good to know that you do eventually get used to it. Because it is a wee bit of a change, it's a wee bit different. Obviously, the onus being more on the student to do the work, and kind of at school, you might have someone on your back, make sure you've done your homework or you've done your essays, whereas at uni, it's more just kind of, you need to do this stuff yourself and get your put in the shift for your own degree. So yeah, that is a big bit difference. And as Ilse and Sam were saying earlier about the support that we have at the university that can really help with that change. So Yeah, a lot of folk maybe studying A-levels or advanced hires in Scotland or kind of higher level education stuff coming into university, there's always a wee bit of a jump. There's always a wee bit of a kind of, this is a bit new to me, this is a different way of learning. And that's probably the kind of strangest thing people find. But yeah, loads of help. And you're not the only one going through this at the time. Everyone's in the exact same boat at the exact same time. So it's always one of these things that if you're struggling with it, someone else is as well. So speak up and you can get lots and lots of help. Cool, so that was really helpful. So thanks for it, Ilse. Questions coming in as well about accommodation. So I believe actually all three of you have been in student accommodation here at Glasgow. So firstly, which one did you stay in? Why do you like it? And also maybe which one is best? Maybe so if you weren't to stay in your one, which one would you have stayed in as well as we addition to that? So Sam, what was your halls experience like?
So I stayed in Queen Margaret Halls. So that would have been, well, I started in 2017. So that's, bedrooms of 5, flats of 5, ensuite rooms. Very nice. I know they've been renovating Queen Margaret over the last couple of years. So I hear now, there's basically the kitchens are massive. Now they've redone all the storage space in the kitchens. They've added sofas and tables and stuff. It's looking very nice. But yeah, it was nice because basically, of course, ensuite in first year, and I think having a flat of 5, it was like a nice number because it wasn't too big that you don't really meet everyone all the time, but it wasn't too small where you feel quite lonely. It was nice because then, say if you wanted to meet more people, you basically just, keep your flat door open and then there'll be people passing by. And then, you might go to a flat party in the flat across, meet someone there, and then whatever. I guess if you're asking where would I have stayed if I didn't stay in, probably would have been Murano. I think originally when I was actually putting my application, I put Murano, so Murano large, Queen Margaret, and then Murano small flats. But then my mum was like, Sam, are you sure? Are you sure you want to go into Murano flats in first year? Are you sure you don't want an ensuite for first year at least? So yeah, I switched it. Somehow got Queen Margaret, and yeah, it's been good. So in my second year, I lived with 2 of my flatmates from first year. So yeah, basically I made good friends and still talk now. So went well.
Cool. So talk about Murano. Nikol, you were in Murano, yeah? How did you find it?
It was interesting. It was honestly, I was in a flat of 11, so it was quite close quarters. So you have to be a certain like mindset, I guess, to be with like that many people. And as well, it wasn't en suite. But honestly, I had like a really fun first year, and like I was in the halls in 2018, and the flat that I was in, thankfully, was renovated. But I know, similarly to Queen Margaret, that they're doing at Murano as well. But like, there was a group chat with like a few people from all the different buildings in Murano, and like people would put in like when they're having parties or whatever, and you could literally just turn up, and everyone was so chill and so nice. And as well, I just had a really good time. I mean, the rooms were really nice as well. They were just standard rooms, but basically it was good fun. And as well, it wasn't that close to the uni. It was about like a 20-minute walk, but there was always, because Murano was so big, there was always like someone going down and coming up at the same time. But I would say, like, I think that Murano large flat was one of my lower choices. I think I would have preferred like a smaller flat myself, but honestly, I had such a good time and all my flatmates were lovely. But I think I would have stayed instead in Cairncross, just because in first year I had really weird hours. I was in like 9 till 6 most days, and Cairncross was like, I think it was like 5-10 minutes away from the uni, so I was definitely more useful to be nearer in that situation. But again, because Murano was so big and there were so many people coming and going, honestly, it didn't really matter that much that I was walking quite far. But yeah.
Excellent. So It's good that we're saying lots of different names of the different accommodations. As you see at the bottom of the screen, we've got a kind of ticker tape running about of the website for accommodation at Glasgow. So if these names of accommodations are the first time you're hearing it and you're trying to write it down, or you maybe weren't sure what we were saying, this is going to be on YouTube and Facebook to watch later down the line. So you can come back to this, watch it again, and check out that bit of the website to look at the different profiles of all these different accommodations that we're talking about. So we're managing to cover quite a few here. So as Nikol said, Murano is probably the furthest away from the university, but it's also enormous, as she was saying. So loads, I think there's something like 1,400 beds there for students. So an absolutely enormous student village. And Ilse, you were right on campus as well, weren't you?
I was, yeah. Speaking about being close to campus, I was in student apartments, which is on the road that's next to the library. So I would literally have to walk like 5 minutes from my front door to be in my lecture hall. It was a very big flat. We were 18, but we had 2 kitchens and I think 5 bathrooms. So that wasn't really an issue. I also shared a room, had a roommate. I chose that because I'd lived with a roommate before and I didn't really mind. And also it was quite a bit cheaper to live with a roommate. And it was really nice. We were just both doing our own thing. And living with 18 is really nice as well. We were all girls, but we spent a lot of time together. And like Sam said, we're still in contact with each other all the time. I actually live with 3 of them now still from first year. 5 others also live together. And yeah, the 2 flats regularly meet up. So that's great. Which one I would have joined if I hadn't been in student apartments, I don't know. I quite liked the fact that I was so close. So anything going further away is a compromise, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, you were absolutely spoiled. I mean, it's literally like 10 meters away from the library. It was such a good kind of distance for you there. But yeah, no, we've covered lots of them. I mean, as Nikol was saying, Cairn Cross House is maybe the one that she was considering. That's in the area called Finnieston, which is actually kind of the area where COP26 is actually going to be happening in. So it's actually around the corner from where that actually is. But that's a great area for students. And as Nikol said, it's a nice wee 5-10 minute walk through the park. But lots of different ones to look at as well. And the panel have kind of really covered quite a lot of the places as well. So have a look on. You'll see different variations of it's good. Ilse has had a shared room experience as well as having shared bathrooms, shared kitchens. And yeah, so different price points as well amongst that. But double check that on the website to see which one suits you best. But that was really good and really helpful. Now, that's one of the things that most people will stay in accommodation in first year and then move out into flats, like Ilse has definitely done with maybe the people you lived with in accommodation, which is fantastic because Glasgow as a city has loads of places for students to live in as well once they move out of accommodation. One of the cool things about accommodation I will just mention is that if you live in student accommodation in first year, you're getting your sports paid for as well as your gym membership, which is a fantastic deal of staying in university halls in first year. Moving out into the city or west end of the city for years 2, 3 and 4 is a great shout though. Loads of places to look at. Now talking about Glasgow as a city, moving into it, what is Glasgow like as a city? And obviously it is my home city, so I'll say it's the greatest city on earth. How about you guys? What was your thoughts on that? So Nikol, we'll come to you first.
No, Glasgow, I mean, I live in Belfast normally, but the way we describe it is like a massive Belfast just because it's so big and there's honestly so much to do. Especially around the university, there's like Byers Road and you have Great Western Road, which are so near the uni. And there's like so many little independent coffee shops as well. Use your chain ones, and then there's supermarkets and all down there. And they're just really sweet to just go down, like whenever you have any free time or anything. Just there's lots of good charity shops as well down there, just to like browse stuff and little independent shops as well. There's lots of like really nice parks around there, like down the front of the university. There's Kelvin Park, which is always really nice whenever you get a sunny day just to go out and just chill out there. And then there's also like Botanic Park, which is honestly like 10 minutes away from the university or so, which is really, really pretty, especially like in the summer, whenever you get a bit of chance away from exams and all those kind of things. But honestly, I've had a really good time in Glasgow, and there's just been so much to do. And it's so near like other places in Scotland as well. Like you can just go pop over to Edinburgh for the day or whatever. Like with my flatmates, we just go on little like day trips and all. And even in the city centre as well, there's so many like lovely shops and restaurants and bars and places in the city centre. There's quite a few in the West End, which is where the university is as well. But the city centre has more probably clubs than the West End, but the West End has a fair share of bars and pubs, which should hopefully meet like everyone's needs.
That was an absolute stellar rundown of Glasgow, and I totally agree with you that Glasgow and Belfast are really, really similar. I mean, yeah, we both have botanic gardens as well, so you must have felt really at home coming to Glasgow. But yeah, it's very, very similar cities to each other, so I'm glad you saw that as well. Sam, how would you describe Glasgow as a city?
Well, coming from London, of course, every other city is smaller. Basically, yeah, coming up to Glasgow, the one thing you realize compared to London is that like the people are nicer. You know, in London, it's very, tunnel vision, stay in your lane, don't talk to me, don't like look at me, whatever, whatever, whatever. So when I was coming up here in first year, like I had to learn basically how to get around Glasgow the hard way because I made the bad decision of moving on a Sunday, which was not good. So yeah, I had to learn how to use. Oh yeah, basically the subway closed at 6 on a Sunday, which is another thing. But yeah, basically had to get the bus from town back to halls. And the one thing you realize is just like you're on the bus and then there might be someone across on the other seat just there trying to make small talk with you, just like actually just have like an actual conversation. And then in my mind, I'm like, why is this person talking to me? Like you don't see that in London. Like I feel like here, say if you looked lost in this in city center, like there most likely there'll be someone who just comes up to you and you'd be like, are you right there? Do you need help to get somewhere? Um, Something you would not see back home, honestly. And it was quite a culture shock, but it was a good culture shock in a way. Um, so yeah, like that, and I guess also, well, like I said, like Glasgow being smaller than London, it still is a big city, so it's like it's small enough that it's easy to get around, like very easy. Like you could walk everywhere, um, but then there's still so much that you can discover because like there's basically so much happening around the city. So there's a lot of stuff here that I haven't even been able to see or visit, which is, and I've been here 4 years. So yeah, there's a lot to do and a lot to see here. Yeah.
Yeah, there is absolutely loads, and you're so right. I mean, obviously, I've lived here my entire life, and there's things that I've still not done as well. Tourists come here and do things in Glasgow. Like, I've never actually done that. But yeah, you're so right as well with the fact that if you look a bit lost in Glasgow, one of us will come up and kind of tell you where you're going, or probably walk with you and buy some chips and stuff like that, and we'll have some chat as well. So we're always just looking out for people to kind of tell them stories about Glasgow and living in Glasgow. We love doing it. Elsa, what does Glasgow like to you? How would you describe it?
I usually, well, when people ask me about like where I live and in Glasgow, I usually describe it a bit as a town in a city, because I'm from a town myself. I've never lived in a city before moving to Glasgow, and then I would say the West End is like a town on its own, where, and what Nikol said, like with loads of pubs, cafes, little shops, super vibrant. And then there's also the city in the city center, which is where you really get the city vibes and the bigger clubs and the bigger stores and the malls and everything. So you get both, and both are close. And yeah, I would also describe it very friendly, very, uh, very, yeah, very friendly. Loads of things to do. but at the same time doesn't feel anonymous as you might expect from a big city. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point as well. I think the kind of town in a big city, I get that. The West End of Glasgow definitely kind of has that kind of township feel, which is absolutely lovely. And it's got they've got the city centre for, as you're saying, all the kind of large shopping centres and stuff as well. But it's also a fairly green city as well. So we do have quite a lot of, as Nikol was talking about, like the Botanic Gardens and Kelvingrove Park on our doorstep. That we do have a lot of greenery, and I mean Glasgow Green right down in the city centre is where we have big music festivals like Transmit. So there's loads and loads of big green spaces as well, which is really nice to see in a city as well. So that's a nice one to have too. Going to come on and ask about scholarships and bursaries. We've got people asking about them. So, Sam, would you be able to chat about scholarships and bursaries?
Yeah, so I've had a number of bursaries during my time at uni. I think the one main one that will probably a lot of people, especially from the rest of the UK, will get is the rest of UK bursary. So it's normally like I think it's in first year it's like £2,000 across the whole year, depend up to. So it depends on income, and then second and third it's 1,500, and yeah, it's basically just like automatically added onto your account. You don't need to apply for it. It's they see your UCAS, and then they see, oh yeah, you're from England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and then they just add it onto that. Um, yeah, it's useful because it's nice to have a bit of money just popping into your account here and there. Um, but there's also like bursaries and scholarships you can apply for as well. I know there's one where if you get, I think it's like 3 A's at A level, you get, I think it was like £1,000, something like that. But there's also other ones like, I applied for the James McCune Smith bursary, which was like £2,000 as well. And that was like if you are of African or Caribbean descent. I think it was BAME descent, but yeah, basically you check online on the scholarships website, and then literally there'll be like drop downs depending on what subject you study, what your surname is, where you're from, and yeah, there'll probably be something that like most people will be able to apply for. It's just about finding out and like looking yourself, because I didn't actually find out about the James McCune Smith one until my final year. So it probably would have been nice if I found it in third year, just have that extra bit of money. Um, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, and then probably you can see, yeah, it's just scrolling there. Yeah, have a look at the website and see what you can find.
Yeah, really good advice. And yeah, there are plenty of scholarships and bursaries available to you. Some will have kind of certain stipulations you need to meet to get them and stuff, but all information will be on that database. So have a look to see what's eligible to you, and it will make your time far, far easier. And if there's money there that you're entitled to, absolutely go and grab it. Now, so one of the things that money can be spent on is obviously your kind of your accommodation and stuff like that. Some people also like to spend money on doing things like sport and stuff like that as well. So signing up to sports clubs. So what are the sports facilities like? I've already talked about how you can get first year. In first year, you get your gym paid for if you're staying in halls of residence. But what are the sports facilities like? So Ilse, I'll come to you if you could chat through some of your experience of the sports.
Yeah, so living so close to uni, I also spent quite some time in the gym because it didn't take much effort to go there. The gym has loads of facilities. So there's a swimming pool, there's the weights room, there's the cardio floor. There's 3 studios which are used for like, you can also follow yoga classes or I don't know, like ab workouts that the gym offers. There's squash courts, there are 2 big sports halls, and that's just all in one gym building. And apart from that, there's also tennis courts just down Kelvingrove Park. And there's a campus a little bit further away where the football courts and hockey fields and rugby and where things like that take place. So loads of sports facilities to facilitate many different types of sports, really.
Yeah, a full range, and even talked about Garscube campus, which is where we have our vet campus. That's where we have, as I was saying, the big pitches, which obviously in the West End of Glasgow, it's kind of hard to fire a full size football rugby pitch right in the heart of the West End. So we've got these Garscube pitches as well, which is fantastic place to have it. Sam, anything you want to add on to the sports?
I guess Ilse just covered it basically. Yeah, like the sports facilities on campus are actually quite decent, because they were actually extended back in, I think it was like 2014. So most of the stuff is like up to date, like new. They've actually added in, I think it was in the weights room, was it power play? They've actually added in new equipment because basically like before it'd be so busy because like people were just like good equipment. But yeah, nice facilities. I actually went yesterday, so for the first time in a while. So yeah,
Solid
it's
effort. I think we're all starting to kind of drag ourselves back into the
yeah.
gym, and the gym is fantastic. The spin studio is like my favourite bit of it. It's like proper like nightclub lights as you're doing your spin classes, which really gets you going. It's fantastic. What else? Other questions people are asking about doing part-time jobs while you're studying. How possible is that? So, Nikol, would you be able to give us some chat on part-time jobs while you study?
Yeah, so one of my friends, she was working in a bar restaurant down in the city centre, and she was actually able to get me like a part-time job there. But I know that there's a lot in the West End where the uni is, like you see the posters like help wanted like all the time going down there. But it was really good, and most of them are really accommodating, and they say they're part-time as well, so you can just basically do weekends if you want as well, because obviously you'll be busy with uni during the week. But they're just very handy to have like a little bit of extra cash in the pocket. And honestly, like me being with my friend doing the job together, it was much more fun rather than going to a whole new job and like trying to make like work friends and all that. So I would recommend maybe doing it with a friend or seeing where people have a job and if they have an opening there perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic advice. And so it's Sam as well, speaking obviously from the SRC. The SRC is quite good at finding people jobs as well. Maybe if you could chat about that as well quite quickly.
Yeah, so in terms of like jobs on campus, like here, so the job that I'm doing right now is a sabbatical position, which is basically after I've graduated. But then here at the SLC, there's actually you can find jobs here as you can be downstairs in the reception as one of the like welcome point hosts. You got jobs here at the what's that place called? The bookshop down there as well. I guess just in terms of jobs in general on campus, like there's quite a lot to find. There's a jobs website that I've actually just been pointing to a few weeks ago, where because I know a few mates that actually work on campus. So like in our new building, the JMS, the James McCune Smith Hub, um, in just like in the cafe, just here and there. We've got people that work in the library as well. I'm not sure if these have been mentioned, but yeah, so basically, like, there's a lot of jobs available on campus, and also as student ambassador, which I was before I graduated. So the other two that you see here, yeah, basically, there's a whole load of opportunities on campus and off campus, as Nicole has said, and there'll be a lot of places that are flexible to students because they understand you have to study.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So yeah, if you are looking for part-time work, just know it's definitely possible. Lots of students have done it before you, and it's a great way to kind of bring in some extra money while you're studying. It's definitely possible. So coming into the final kind of 10 minutes or so, just to get a few more questions out. Good question, and I'm asking about what is the one item you should pack before coming to Glasgow. So Ilse, how about you?
I'd say hiking boots because Glasgow is very well connected. You can take a bus for like an hour and you'll be at Loch Lomond. You can take a train anywhere. So what I've been doing a lot with my flatmates, also last year because it was most things weren't open, so we figured if we just go into nature, there's no way, there's a way to get out without without breaking any restrictions at the moment. But even now, still, we go on hikes, we camp. So yeah, take your hiking boots, because Scottish Highlands are beautiful, and definitely worth a visit while you're around.
I would absolutely agree with that. There's so much stuff that you can go and see, and as you were saying, only about an hour or so away from Glasgow, you've got Loch Lomond. Going a wee bit further afield, you've got like one of the most beautiful mountains in the world, which is Buccleuch Big, I believe it said. I don't know if that's how it said. I've never known, but it's a proper like emoji shaped mountain. So that stuff is absolutely incredible, and it's you can go there as part of club societies or even just travel there. Nikol, what would you bring as your one item?
Yeah, so I said probably like a Tesco club card, because I know, especially in first year living in Murano, there was a really big Tesco just down the road from us. And honestly, it was just the feeling of scanning your club card and then like suddenly you only had to pay half the price, you know. But it is very useful. But I honestly bought most of my stuff and all over in Glasgow, so you don't need to bring too much, I don't think.
That is such a sensible, but I so get that Tesco club card, especially now when you get the at the end you scan it and then you get the wee how much you've saved. It's the most satisfying thing. So especially as a student, that's super important. So a great shout from you, Nikol. Sam, what item would you bring?
I can't lie, it was hard to think. You know what? I'd actually bring my panini press, because I literally bought one. I think I literally bought one when I was at home, and then it's so versatile because you can make a sandwich, and then you can actually use it to like cook different stuff. And I don't know, it's just very useful to have it just there, like in the kitchen, and then you can also take it with you. There's like the handle, and I've walked around like going home with my panini press. It looks silly, but honestly, worthwhile investment.
Right. I feel like your experience of you can cook anything on a panini press is probably going against what it says on the box, but okay, it's a good shout, yeah, panini press. If I was to chip in with something here as well, I would say a good rain jacket as well. It's one of the things that a lot of people say, "Oh, Glasgow it rains all the time." It absolutely doesn't, but it's like in general, if you're waiting for the rain to stop, you're wasting away your life. So get a big jacket on, head outside and enjoy yourself. Billy Connolly did say that, so it's words of wisdom from him, and it's definitely kind of words to live by. So I would always say that as well. Now, coming into the kind of final question now, why would you recommend studying Glasgow? If you were to recommend studying to others, why would you big up Glasgow? So Nikol, why would you?
Yeah, so it's probably a mixture of like the degree program being flexible and the city as a whole. Again, everyone was saying it's so friendly here, and like it's just so easy to like make friends and just go about and do things. Honestly, I'm really contemplating staying in Glasgow as well, similarly to Sam. Like after I graduate at the end of this year, it's just a really great place to be, and all the staff members and all that I've had throughout studying in Glasgow have all been really, really nice, really approachable. And honestly, it's made my experience really, really good so far.
That is absolutely amazing. I love to hear that you're kind of you kind of really want to stay here in Glasgow, because we love keeping people as well here in Glasgow. It's a fantastic city to live in. So yeah, that's fantastic. Sam, how about you? Why would you suggest it?
I kind of say the same as Nikol. You know, um, I was quite happy that I got to do the flexible degree structure. I got to learn German in my first year, which I probably wouldn't have done, elsewhere. And also where Glasgow is, just in general, like, I can easily go home, but then it's so easy to discover the rest of Scotland or elsewhere. Like, literally, you've got Oban, the Highlands, literally like 3 hours down the road, straight from here. So easy to get to, for a cheeky day out. And even there's so much in the city as well. And also just like the vibe that you get from the West End, and the people you meet here as well. I'd recommend it highly.
Superb, superb. And finally, Elsa, why would you recommend Glasgow as a place to study?
I think mostly the things have already been said. Just the vibes in the West End, the campus, which I really like, is closer together, so you really get this kind of town idea. The rest of the country as well. It's like Sam said, it's so easy to explore different parts of the country. The cultural sector in Glasgow is really good now that is COVID restrictions have gone down. It's gone back to getting so many gigs all the time, many cultural festivals, art, music, which is also a great space. So yeah, just I think it's more. I think it's not one thing that makes you come here, but it's just everything together that works really well.
Again, that's brilliant to hear, and it's nice to hear about Glasgow as a city's great, the university's great, the academics have been brilliant, but I think the three of you are being very modest, and that a big part of why people should come to Glasgow is they'll be joining students like you guys, and you're all absolutely fantastic. You're all doing incredible things. You're such interesting, positive people to have at the university. So you guys are probably the number one reason I would always suggest people come to Glasgow, just to be part of our student body. You're absolute fantastic humans. So that is pretty much us finished. I'm just seeing we're kind of running out of time, but hopefully this has been really useful for you. We've covered an absolute enormous amount of ground, from clubs and societies to join, to how to get good scholarships, what Glasgow's like as a city, what it's like if you're coming from far afield. We've covered an absolute wealth of ground, so hopefully you found this useful. If you do want to kind of zoom back and rewatch anything, we've been beaming this over Facebook and YouTube and into our Open Day platform. Use them to kind of go and watch it again. But it's been an absolute pleasure with you guys. So thank you so much for your chat. You've given some fantastic advice. I've loved hearing it. Loved hearing about your kind of stories and your bits of advice. It's all been absolutely tip top. But if you are watching this and you're thinking of how else you can kind of get involved to get more information, definitely follow us on our socials. So if you go to University or U of Glasgow on most things, you'll find loads of information. It's a great way to find everything that's going on. But hopefully you found this really, really brilliant. And as I've thoroughly enjoyed this, I've absolutely loved it. So thanks once again to the panel. You've been superb, and thank you for watching. And hopefully you found this useful. And hopefully see you soon in Glasgow. So cheers.